Hey everybody, it's Eric Preston, and I meant to record this review a little bit earlier, but after Comic-Con I got sick, and so I was fighting fever or cold or something for a while. But now I'm back. Hey! Uh, so I had the privilege of seeing the premiere screening of The Woods, which has now been revealed as The Blair Witch, which is a direct sequel to The Blair Witch Project from 1999. And what were my thoughts on it? Eh. Uh, I wanted to love this movie. When we went into it, they didn't tell us what it was, other than The Woods, and we had seen those teasers going around for the previous months, and you could tell it kind of had a Blair Witch feel to it, but there wasn't enough in that trailer to definitively say, "Hey, this is a Blair Witch movie." And the first frame of the movie, it's clear it's a Blair Witch sequel. So at no point are you watching this movie and then it eventually gets revealed. Like, from the very get-go, you know it's a Blair Witch sequel. First and foremost, there will be zero spoilers in this review. I'm going to record a spoiler review shortly after I record this, but I'm not going to post it until it gets closer to theatrical release, because I don't think it would be fair for me to put that information out to the world yet. When I do, maybe click here or somewhere there will be a review. So my overall thoughts on this film is, again, I would give it a C, and that's unfortunate for me. Again, I wanted to love this movie. I loved the original Blair Witch Project. For anybody who knows me, they know that the only movie that has ever fucked with me in the theater and afterwards was the Blair Witch Project. It took me a couple days after that movie to feel comfortable again. And when I realized that we were watching Blair Witch 2, for lack of a better term, the Blair Witch sequel, I immediately went to 1999 and that feeling I got of when I watched the original Blair Witch Project. And immediately I had hoped that that's what I was going to experience. Unfortunately, the first character you meet is James McCune, and he's a known actor. And so when you have a found footage film, it immediately took me out of it recognizing the person on screen. Obviously, I knew him from The Walking Dead as well as Shameless. So it was unfortunate that they cast a known actor for the main role of the film. And I don't know if that's a fair criticism. When the Blair Witch Project came out, obviously found footage was new. Blair Witch Project pretty much made found footage an actual genre. And so at that time, it made sense for them to not cast known actors when you had Heather, Mike, and Josh. Since found footage has become a genre over the last, 17 years, I don't know if studios should stay away from casting known actors at this point, because everybody knows it's not real. And when the original Blair Witch Project came out, obviously there was that question of, is it real, is it not? And obviously the marketing campaign behind the Blair Witch Project was genius and helped create that narrative that this could have been real. They did that with the fake Rustin Parr interviews, they did it with the fake newspaper clippings, and they also did it with, like, the fake journals, the soundtrack being the CD that was found in, I think, Josh's car. Just various things that they put out there that made you say, what is this? Once you start getting familiar with this film, with Blair Witch, once you start getting into it and you disregard the fact that James McCune is the lead, you get introduced to Valerie Curry. And again, immediately get pulled out of the film, because I know her from The Following and I know her from House of Lies. Again, take that criticism as you want. The other thing I would want to say on this is with it being a found footage film, the Blair Witch only had 2 cameras to splice together. And it worked in that sense. And with this movie, because of current technology, they have so many cameras that, one, to believe this world that it was found footage, you'd have to find all of these cameras, and then somebody would have to take the time to splice all of these cameras together. That kind of took away from it, but more importantly, what really got to me about this is that there are parts in the film where the camera is clearly not coming from a point of view of one of the characters. So it happens a couple times. I mean, it doesn't happen very often. The filmmakers did a pretty good job of maintaining that every shot is coming from somebody else's point of view camera. But there's a couple shots in there where you're like, those angles don't make sense. Again, it's hard for me to give you an explanation on why I want to give it a meh rating without going into spoilers. Should you see it? Absolutely. If you love the Blair Witch Project, I think you should see this movie, because I think that you should have the opportunity to potentially have that experience that you originally had back in 1999, or whenever it was that you had watched the original film. Again, for me, it didn't work. And I hope that it works for everybody else, because I think that looking back when I originally saw that film, being the Blair Witch Project back in 1999, again, there was that sense of being disturbed that literally took me a couple days to shake, and I'm not exaggerating when I say that. And I was hoping for that again, and it's very possible that you will experience that again. Again, it didn't work for me. I'll give you a spoiler review going more into detail as to why it didn't work. But for the time being, plan on seeing it the weekend of September 16th. I think it's worth seeing, even though it has its flaws. Obviously, if it does well, you'll get a sequel to that. And whatever flaws this one has, hopefully the potential sequel, will be able to rectify that. So, this is Eric Preston, and thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.